This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the town of North Haven.
All right, we're on.
We're on? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the month of February 4th, I guess it is. My name is Vern Carlson, and I'm the chairman. February 2nd. Third. Okay, we'll be here.
Good, correct.
I'm the chairman of the commission.
You guys want to vote on that?
Okay, we got past that. We have a few public hearings tonight to go to, and a little different on the agenda. And how that works, which I'm sure everybody knows, is that when the applicant brings up the application, the commission will satisfy their questions, and of course, then we'll open it up to the public. If there's any questions, they can present what their concern might be. Then we'll go on to site plans, and site plans, there is no public input, and agenda, and in deliberation, of course, there is no public input. With that being said, Alan, let me introduce our staff. Andy Bellavacqua, out to my extreme right, is our town engineer. Next to him is Alan Fredrickson, is our land use administrator. To my extreme left is Mary Lee Radjuski, is our court reporter. And next to her is Pam Miller, is our staff secretary. Jim?
Jim Giletti, regular member.
Rod Williams, alternate, sitting tonight.
Okay, let the record show that he'll be sitting for Teresa.
Richard Wilson, Vice Chairman.
Brian Cummings, regular member.
Paul Wyman, alternate.
Okay, and with that being said, you want to sit as...
I'll sit as
Okay,
secretary.
yeah. Right, yeah, I'd be sitting as secretary. Okay, for just this meeting. Okay, with that being said, is there any changes to the agenda, Alan?
Well, just that I think there was some discussion about taking item number 2 out of order because they're going to request to be continued.
Right. Anything else?
No, I think that's all.
Okay. Well, we're going to take number 2 first because he's going to be looking for a continuation here. And go ahead. Can you read it in?
Okay, we're good. Application of Timothy J. Lee, applicant, proposed amendment to North Haven Planning and Zoning Regulations to add section 5.2.163 to permit retail stores uses on Saca Point Road between Route 5 and Universal Drive. The proposed amendment is on file in the Land Use Office and the Office of the Town Clerk.
Okay.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Timothy Lee. I'm nominally the applicant, but I'm really here on behalf of the Kitchen Company, who is the owner of the property on Saca Point Road. I'm here tonight requesting that the public hearing be continued until next month. I'm willing to grant the statutory extension of time to the commission in order to accommodate that request. We made the presentation last month. Since that time, I met with Alan. We modified the request based on some of the conversations we had with the commission last month. And we're intending to go forward tonight, but both the town and the landlord are experiencing some issues with the tenant at the property. We're going to work over the next month to sever the relationship with the tenant and hopefully be able to present the final version of the application without any distraction caused by the tenant's conduct. So based on that, we would ask that the matter be continued to next month.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? Jim?
No, I'm a little concerned. I just don't know what that means, but I can wait till next month to find out what it means because I just want to say, as one person without prejudging anything, when you say sever the relationship, I don't know how that's going to solve the problem with the violations.
Well, if they're no longer at the property, it would solve the
Okay,
violation.
that would solve the
Yes.
problem with the violations. Fair enough. That's what I was wondering. Very good. I don't have any other questions.
Rich?
No, that's it.
No questions.
I have just one question. The last meeting, we talked about a sign that's out in front there, and I guess we wanted it removed, and it's still out there.
Correct, and that's, the town zoning enforcement officer issued a cease and desist order on Friday regarding the signage. My client has experienced difficulties with this particular tenant. In addition to their conduct, they've also not paid the rent, so they're looking to find a way to sever the relationship with the tenant.
Got it.
Okay, all set. Thank you very much, and take it up for deliberation, and that's it.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, thanks, Tim. Okay,
The next, this is P 1937, continuation of the zone change, application of Jarrett Russo, applicant and owner relative to 8 and 10 Grasso Avenue, map 36, lot 36, and map 36, lot 35, plan entitled Existing Condition Properties located at number 8 and number 10 Grasso Avenue, North Haven, Connecticut, prepared by Criscolo Engineering, dated 4/16/2019, 1 inch equals 20 feet, R20 zoning district.
okay.
Vern, before they start, who's sitting? Because I thought, didn't Alan say Rod really can't sit on this one because it's continuation?
Yeah, that's correct. There's no conflict, so they could stay here, but they wouldn't be sitting. So really have Brian, Rich, Vern, and you,
That's fine. I
Jim.
just wanted to
Yeah.
make.
So Ron and Paul are out, but they can comment.
Certainly.
They're not conflicted or what have you, but up until deliberations.
Four months, okay, good.
Yep.
Gentlemen, okay. Okay, go ahead. Thank
Good
you very
evening,
much.
Jarrett Russo for the record, ROU.
Sorry, your name, sir?
Jarrett Russo, the applicant and owner. This is April Capone, the co-owner. Per last meeting, you asked us to reach out to, the December meeting, you asked us to reach out to the property owners of 14, which we did. We sent certified letter, return receipt, and we've reached out via Facebook Messenger to the tenant of 14 Grasso to try to get contact information for the actual owners, and we've been unsuccessful with any attempt.
We did hear back from the tenant, so the tenant did receive our message, and said that he would pass our contact information along to the owners.
So you didn't have any conversation or nothing with the owner of the lot whatsoever?
Correct, short of knocking on their door in Middletown, which is a little,
Right, well, we did have an address and a phone number for
we
the,
have, we have an address.
yeah,
We've sent a certified letter, return receipt. They have not reached out to us, and
Yeah.
we've tried every phone number we could find, and I believe Alan has as well.
right. Did they
Here.
pick up the?
Did they pick up the mail?
They picked up the mail, we have the return receipt here.
No kidding.
Okay, so, fine. So anyway, as you know, the commission wants to change the 3 lots so we don't have one stick out in the industrial zone. We changed this back some 15 years ago or more, for reasons, I don't know why we did it, but we did it. And anyways, we want to get it back so we have a nice clean line and you'll have your industrial lots there and their neighbors will be industrial. Changing his lot back to industrial would just make him non-conforming. Isn't going to hurt him at all. It'll help him as far as that goes. So that's the idea of the delay of getting your approval on the change, on the zone change there. Alan, you have not heard a word from anybody in respect to that.
No, and I did reach out through the tenant, and the tenant sent me back an email that just indicated he would dutifully pass the information along, contact information to them, and they did not contact me. So I had the one conversation. We got the email from the tenant speaking for them. I don't know where that leaves you at this point.
Well, yeah.
We're getting close to out of time.
I don't know what we have for time, I was gonna check that right now if I can't, but I would like to, well, what the commission would like to do is change to 3, of course. And I know we're holding you up somewhat, but, this month, the plan is to advertise a lot and do everything legally so the town can change to 3 of them next month. Now, if is that gonna hurt you folks much, or?
I just have a question. Was it advertised previously? Were they noticed already?
They were not, I don't believe it was noticed in the paper, and that's what we need to do. We need to legally notify, put it in the paper and send them from the town, send them also a receipt for what we're gonna do there. Since they just ignored us, I mean,
Well, we're talking about two different things. They were notified of the pendency of your application to change 2
Right.
lots.
I understand.
They were
That's
not,
why I was
but not
confused.
from
nobody was notified of the
From us.
idea of changing their lot,
Right.
Understood.
Right.
Okay.
to my knowledge.
so we'd like to go ahead and follow things through legally and notify them, and give them an opportunity to comment, whether they're for it or against it, whatever. We plan to do that this month.
I have no problem with that plan. Let me ask a question, though. Alan, do we then need an actual application to make all 3? Because this application is not to do that.
You're right, it is not to do that, and you would need to devise a way to do that. So you either need to get these fine applicants to add them. I don't know quite how they add them in a hostile situation. That is to say, they're not signing anything on their application form, agreeing to it or consenting. So it almost seems to me to be like an independent act of the commission if you wanted to change the other lot.
And I think we can do that.
You can do that,
independently.
as information I got from Jennifer. Yep.
We can
Okay.
do that tonight
May or may
and
not be here yet.
continue to do this next month. If you need this,
I mean-
if you need this, sooner than next month, well, then
I think it'd be nice to put this to sleep and
Yeah,
the
but we
town
don't-
can move on with
The
their last lot.
difficulty is, we don't want a legal problem when we're done.
right, we don't
You know,
want any
so
sort of legal
We
problems. I
want
want,
all 3 of them to go, because otherwise it's awkward. So we're not looking to hold you up, but I get what he's saying. I just want to make sure, even if we do it right.
Yeah.
So, do we run out of time with these folks?
Hold on one sec, and,
And
see,
Bert,
the
did
public hearing has been open
Right.
since December 2nd.
Yeah.
And
then we
I'm
got January,
concerned about
February.
that.
I think we're okay.
So,
We got 65 days.
Let's just have one at a time.
well,
Yeah.
you're okay until today. So 29 days of December, you got 31 is 60 in January to the 1st of February, so you're 63 to today. So you're looking at going into March to get to March 2nd. I have to check that. The issue being how long you can keep the public hearing open.
Right.
So they can extend, but you're supposed to close that public hearing in 35 days. So I think you're going to be getting 35 plus 65. So my guess, off the top of my head, is you're getting 100 days total with their consent. But we're sitting December, January, so we're sitting at 63 today. So we got the 35. If you give me a little bit to check something,
Yes, by all means, take your time.
we can look at that.
Did you talk to Jennifer about this?
Yeah, I did.
You did? What did
I
she
did.
say?
I didn't get to the nuts and bolts of it. I just didn't have time to get in there and see her as far as that. I thought she was going to be here.
She is
for
eventually.
this.
She is going to be here, but
Yeah, so, but, she said we can do it.
Yeah, we
But
can.
I just want to make sure that we're not going to run out of time. as what Jim's concern is.
I think everybody, if I'm reading it correctly, is on board with letting you get what you want. We just don't want to have a problem with the zone.
I understand that.
I mean, is it
Very
okay with you folks?
intimately understand
Yeah.
that.
I mean, did you plan to get in there and start building in the next month?
I mean, we have time, the sooner, like
sooner
like
rather
anyone
than
else,
later.
the
We
sooner
get it.
it's
Yeah.
done, that dictates our future plans and tells us, informs the next steps of our
Well, it
process.
seems like everybody's, like Jim is telling me, everybody's fine with
Yeah.
making a change. It would be good for the area, it would be good for the town, it'd be good for you. It'd be good to them as well.
I think so too, but they may not think so, who knows?
I think you're good. I think you can get it to
The next meeting.
March, and that's it.
Okay.
So that's 35 days plus a 65-day extension if they're willing to grant you that. My question is, what are you going to do in the next 30 days?
I think what you do is say, put on the agenda, and you certainly can ask Jennifer, but I think you put on the agenda that the Planning and Zoning Commission wishes to change the whole 3 lots to whatever zone we're trying to get into. And then put it on as that, so it's advertised as that, and then we can act on it, all of them at the same time next month. That's what I think you do, but I think you ask Jennifer.
Yeah,
So
we'll find that
you
out.
guys agree to extend it till the next month, we can make sure that this happens. You don't have to, but then we have to vote.
Yeah,
Alan,
we understand.
what is if we change that without that owner coming in here to approve it or not, what would be the downside or the
They
drawback?
could sue you?
Yeah. You can change it,
I think
You can
could,
change
but
it, you
would
can
be-
definitely
but
change it.
and they could complain, but,
Well,
How does it, the downside is for them
How does it affect
potentially.
them?
yeah.
Does it, did you take money out of their pocket? Your liability, I guess, is roughly speaking, what you might cost them by doing it.
I think we
suppose.
have the right to, as a board, to figure out what are the correct areas to be zoned, how they're to be zoned. That's one of our jobs.
I think for sure,
So
definitely.
they could say that we did it, and that's why we want to do it right. They could say we did it arbitrarily, or we did it without the correct consideration, but we definitely have the right to go ahead and change the zone. So we want to give every effort, but I think you've tried everything with this other landowner. However, I'm concerned, as you said, there's no application to do all 3. So we have to make sure at some point, we publish that we want to do all.
right.
If your
we don't-
desire is to do all 3, and if that's a desire of the commission, if everybody's okay, I will start tonight and try and figure out how to do
Put it
it.
together for next.
I don't think they can add it just to their application, but
Yeah,
perhaps,
Whatever way
So-
we have to do it. I think
whatever
we
it
can do
takes. But your inclination would be to do it, which gives them a little bit of motivation to go along with
Yeah,
it.
right.
A gag here, so to speak,
Either
right?
that or they
So-
don't have a lot of choice, but whichever way you want to put it.
Well, I mean, if the worst thing that could happen, you'll be at your approval next month. You know, because
I
it's
think
likely the
that's-
board is good, it's likely the commission
I
is
think
going
that's
to approve
accurate.
this. So that's the worst thing that could happen. Are you good with that, folks?
Yeah, I
No.
think, well, you're the
Okay,
applicant
well, then,
officially.
then we'll pursue it that way, and Alan will be in touch with you, you know, if there's anything that we need you for, or whatever, in respect to this, which I don't think so. But, you know, we'll go along in that way, Alan, and you'll get right on it, I'm sure tomorrow.
So you're willing to put on the record that you're granting an extension, the last possible extension
Yeah.
to the commission to act? Okay, and then we took that as a head nod and an affirmative, okay?
Yeah.
There you go. Fair enough. Now, if
What you're
next,
saying is
Just say
say
yes.
out loud, I agree
Yeah.
to grant an
Just-
extension.
We're just having a family meeting. I think we are out of town for the next meeting. I
You
don't know
don't
if
have-
that's
No, you don't have to
problematic.
be here
or-
next
You don't
time.
have to be. We'll take care of it.
now, if I can just ask,
Wait,
the-
wait.
We are out of
Okay.
town on March 2nd.
Okay, but are you agreeing to the extension?
I am
You'll grant us
agreeing to
the extension, okay,
yes.
then it's
So
good.
we're
Take
good.
it
I
from
don't
there.
need you next week.
If you have
now,
any-
let me ask you something, if I may. we really would like to set this up such that their application stands on its own. You could approve what you want to approve. If we advertise that other lot being turned over to the IL zone, and let's just say suddenly
He shows up.
he shows up and he objects, and you guys decide maybe it's not the best idea to do, we still need to put them in a position
No question.
where they
They're
can
gonna be
approve. Okay.
Right, no
All right,
question. So their application still stands.
Yeah.
If as a board, we listen to the other gentleman, he says he doesn't want it, we still then can act on theirs. But otherwise, we want all three of them.
We'll listen to what he has
Okay.
to say. If he's objecting to it, we'll listen to it. It doesn't mean that we will not do it anyway, so.
But we think you've done everything that you could have done.
I think, I just can't
Alan's
imagine
tried
what
as
he's
well.
doing. Okay?
Yeah, no, we understand.
Alan's tried as well, so.
Okay, good enough? Are we good?
We're good, yep,
Okay.
I'm set.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, folks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
patience.
everybody.
Whatever you're doing. Okay, thanks so much. Okay, good job, Jim. Very good. Okay, Brian?
Okay, the next one is P20-01, subdivision application of Robert Cirilli, applicant Robert Cirilli and Vanessa Cirilli, owners of, for 3 lots relative to 77 and 83 North Hill Road, map 24, lot 15 and 16, plan entitled Proposed Subdivision, properties located at 77 and 83 North Hill Road, North Haven, Connecticut, prepared by Criscola Engineering LLC, dated 1/3 of 2020, scale 1 inch equals 30 feet, R40 zoning district.
Okay, sir?
Good evening, Jim Preddy, Criscola Engineering, 420 East Main Street in Branford. The properties we're talking about are 77 and 83 North Hill Road, both owned by the Cirillis. 77 is just 50,760 square feet, and the larger lot is almost 98,000 square feet. The proposal is to remove the interior lot line and create a third lot. So this house would be on its own lot, this house would be on its own lot, and then another building lot would end up on the north end of the lot.
Okay, you don't have no paperwork. That's all right, just look over this way a little bit.
So in essence, what I've highlighted here is what the new property lines will look like. The new lots would meet all the bulk standards regarding area, setbacks, everything. There is a small piece of the existing house at 77 that would have to come off to make this work. Also in the package, there's a site development plan. Oops, too far. Showing the location of a potential new house. It's just showing a possible house. There hasn't been a house selected yet. That would come next. So we'd have to do a plot plan for that lot. for
Is
whichever
that
house.
3 of 4?
This is sheet 3 of 4,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So 83 would be on its own lot, 77 would be on its own lot, and the possible new house would be on this lot here. We have also included in the site development plan, all 3 would now be connected to the new sewer that's in Mikey's Way. When the contractor put in the sewer for Mikey's Way, they left stubs. I did hear from Quality today. He gave me a location and the depth on those stubs. And there have since, in last couple of years, water's been extended past here also, so they have the ability to connect to city water now. There is new sidewalk that ends here from Mikey's Way, and there's sidewalk from North Hill Road that ends at this corner of the property, so we're proposing to connect the 2 sidewalks, because I've been here before.
Well, that's good enough, yeah.
There are existing a number of trees in the front yards here will remain. So there was a couple of locations where there's kind of holes in the vegetation where we're proposing 2 street trees just to kind of fill in.
What you have there outlined in red on the property, just the buildings that you have,
This?
these are all, yeah, on all of them, yeah.
Yeah, so this is just a potential house because they
Right.
haven't picked the house yet to build.
Yep.
So it's just a possible showing where it would sit and that it meets all the setbacks, basically.
Right, so all those other,
These are existing.
okay.
There is a small storage bin area that's for his home-based business that's on this lot that will have to be removed. But should the approval happen, he will take that out.
Yeah, I know, Brian, you were concerned about, you weren't quite clear to where everything was when you went down there as to what you were looking at there. I guess that's, you were concerned about those, what are those things,
Well,
bins?
just the storage bins up there, yeah.
Material storage bins, yes.
Yeah.
Also, just to, can we go to questions now, or?
Sure.
Yeah, are you through?
Yep.
Okay.
It's
Go ahead,
it's
Brian,
pretty
go ahead.
simple.
No, just had some questions, I think we all do, but on Lot 3, there's a cover it.
Yes.
There, is that going to remain?
That exists there now.
Is it just there now?
I suppose if it needed to be moved, it could be moved, but
Do we have rules on cover it's if this is a new site plan?
We do have regulations which were put into effect with the accessory structures in residential zones in 2007. That structure predated that. It's on our aerials from '05.
Okay.
So I wasn't really sure, what we might be able to do about that at that point. So I believe it's protected by 8-13A.
Except the lot lines are changing though, right?
Yes.
Well, not that lot line, but it's...
That lot line's exactly the same?
this isn't,
Oh, no,
this
no,
isn't
but
changing.
it's
Yeah, but isn't
but
there,
still, you're taking away a small amount of land, but...
yeah, isn't there a lot modification on this plan?
Yes, this lot is getting
So
smaller.
there is being a change.
It's getting smaller.
Yeah, so I don't know that, I'm not saying that I have a problem with it, I'm just saying I'm not sure that we couldn't do something in accordance with our regulations.
Mhm. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and, I don't think we've got a lot of latitude on that. I don't know that the applicant, is even aware that that's something that you couldn't put up today, but...
Well, it just looks like there's a lot of activity going on the particular site,
Sure.
is what he's talking about. Paul, you were asking the same thing.
So,
Which,
I had another question too.
Sure,
Just the proposed lot with the house that's proposed, there has drainage coming off. It's for a 1-inch rainfall.
Yes.
And it's going to the, I guess, which way, the northeast side, there's going to be an area where the water will be diverted to.
Yes.
If, 1-inch rainfall is 1-inch rainfall, but that's one of the higher places on that property. Is there a chance that that's going to be draining down into the neighbor's driveway of the,
Well, it's an underground structure. I know the soils in this area are really pretty good. And this lot slopes that way, so I wouldn't put it in front of the house because.
well, would that hold something
Yeah,
greater than
and
1-inch
we've done
rainfall?
something similar on all the lots on Hidden Pond Estates, right behind here. Because the soils are so good, we've done the underground infiltration units. But what we do, we put a clean out right before it with a slotted cap so that if, in the case it does fill up, it has a place to relieve instead of basically creating, eroding a hole in the ground.
Okay.
But I don't, given the soil types that are here, I don't see it running out into the neighbor's yard, to be honest with you.
I asked that because I have a stream by the end of my house, and in the past, not calendar year, but it's flooded 3 times into my yard in the past year. And I'm sort of sensitive to water issues, and I don't know if a 1-inch rainfall on that roof, and we really, and that's going to have to be scaled to the size of the roof on the house, correct?
Oh, yeah, this, again, it's just a potential, so whatever the final house design is, it will have to be modified to
So,
handle whatever that area is.
so we're not approving this?
You're just
this
approving
time?
the lot, you're not really approving the house.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you.
yeah, Rich, you got any questions?
Yeah, just some of that material stuff that's in the backyard. You're intending to clean that up, or?
Yeah.
Help me out with this?
You want to step up?
Yeah.
Up to the mic?
Your name for the record, please.
Robert Sorelli.
Yeah, there's steel manhole frames and covers. We do
raising elevations in the streets. And I usually get the old manhole frame and cover, and I bring it down to Sims, and I dispose of it there. I didn't have time to do it, so it's been building up in there, but if I have to take it out, I'll take it out, whatever has to be done. But it is gonna be removed. Yeah, so I just put it there just to have it there, and then when I get a little bit, I bring it down to Sims, and I get rid of it. But there is more than what should be there right now. So I just,
It normally is not, you don't have that much stuff there?
no, there's hardly anything there. There's usually maybe 10 there at the most, but
I mean, are you still gonna, after this lot change and you create these lots,
Yeah.
are you still gonna operate whatever you're operating the same way as?
no, not really, no, because it's gonna be a separate lot, and I won't have the space for it.
Okay, so what are you gonna
So-
do, what are you gonna do with those
I like
bins
to keep
or
them
whatever
there.
else?
I would like to keep the bins there because I have a wood burner down my cellar and I use it for wood.
Mm-hmm.
So we take some trees down in the course of what we do for a living in the construction. I split the wood there and I clean it. I kind of like move it over to burn it, so.
The drawings show the block being removed.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
it's just like a mafia block, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, I looked at it and
Yeah.
I wasn't sure just what was going or what wasn't.
No, like I said, if I have to take it out, I'll take it out, whatever I have to do.
I mean,
But it's usually not there anyways, it's just a lot of it, and, the price of the steel went down, so I wanted to hold on to it to get the price up and wait for the price to get
Sure.
up, but it hasn't gone
Certainly
up, so I
understand that.
have to get rid of it.
So, you're gonna continue running your business from there, is that correct?
Well, yeah, I do run my business, I have some equipment, but during the summer, it's never there, it's gone, it's usually on site. I just usually, I used one, I had a little process there, and I had the steel there, which I'm gonna get rid of, but, everything else is just, it's clean, I keep it up, I don't,
Well, it certainly does.
I don't make a mess out of
So
it.
what is it, the equipment's there just because the job sites are closed down now?
Yeah, right,
Yeah, you work with asphalt, I presume?
yes, we do.
Yeah, so the
Just,
plants are closed, so the
Right,
equipment is home.
exactly, so everything's shut down for a couple of months, and that's it, and then once everything starts up, we're good to go. But yeah, I use a little asphalt to do the repair, and that's about it.
Jim?
Well, I'm trying to understand here. So the third lot, the one to the, whatever the side that is, west, north, has the bins shown on it now, correct? And as part of this process, those bins are coming out. Is that correct or not correct?
I had shown them to be coming out because it's a separate lot.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's no longer part of the middle property,
So
it's
if he-
the next
right.
one.
So if he needs to keep the bins, he can move them on lot.
Well, let's talk about, fair enough, so let's talk about that. I've heard it described as an in-home business. We do have a regulation for in-home businesses, but you have to register them, do you not?
You do not.
You don't?
You need to just operate them in a manner that complies with the regulations. It's an
What does
asset
that
right
mean?
in the residential zone.
Okay, so what does that mean when it's construction? Can you put those on residential lots?
Well,
And I'm not looking,
That's-
you keep your property neat.
Yeah, I
I
try
don't
to.
see it as a big problem, but,
you
We
really
need to clear it up,
kind
that's
of a gray
I try to
area.
get-
The home business regulation, you can read the two. You can
Yeah.
have an office, okay,
Right.
that's pretty clear. Then you can have a traditional home business. I actually spoke with someone today about a home business and was kind of going through, and I tend to give people the paragraph, 2.1.1.3, and say, if you feel you can comply with that, then you can conduct your home business. You require nothing more from us, there's no permit. If you don't conduct it in that manner, then you have a violation, and you would eventually hear from, I guess, our CEO. So your question now.
so let's say the home business is a construction business.
Yeah.
And you have huge dump trucks as part of your construction business, you're saying you can keep those on that site?
Not outdoors.
I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but.
Yeah,
Not outdoors.
Not outdoors.
You can put anything in a garage. It's a question about outdoor storage. Now, if you get into, if Mr. Shirley wanted to have an assemblage of large concrete block.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a particular problem with some sort of block formation that's there. If you get involved with a situation where there's a whole lot of material storage, outdoor storage, he doesn't have a lot of material that's in there. I did look back through the aerials to go back to '05 is what we have. He was there. And there are sort of smaller piles, what have you. There are 3 bays, and there's been a, some sort of amount of material. It doesn't seem to go beyond those
Yeah.
particular storage the reason we ask people to put the block in general, and we've done this in so many locations, industrial locations, is to contain the stuff and kind of put a limit on what would be there. Trucks are definitely something that's over, if it's over the 3/4 ton or whatever, whichever, everything you would have would be over that. There's an issue with that. Is he, if they went inside, okay, the issue's over. There's also, I guess the Cirillis are pavers. So again, you don't see the stuff there for all but 10 weeks a year when the asphalt plants close until they open up again. This stuff that is out at a job site or what have you. So it only shows up for about 10 weeks when the plants are closed or whatever. So that's another, I'm not saying it's legal to keep that stuff there for 10 weeks, but it's something that gets cured almost faster than you send a letter out.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm good.
Ron?
I just have a question about the driveway, that, there's a bit that'll be removed as that third lot's created.
Right in here.
Right, so just where is that line being drawn? Is it just gonna butt up along the property or be set back a little bit from the new property, where the driveway ends?
Yeah, no, this will get cut off, and this will get removed and seeded. They still have this driveway to get into the, park back here, so it's just a place to pull in and park near the door.
That's actually removed now. I took the asphalt off.
Is that right?
So it's all gravel right now.
All the way back to that existing structure?
This whole thing, yeah.
Okay.
That's all out. I've been cleaning that up now, so.
Now, the other thing, that just piggybacking on that, Rod, the other area between lots 2 and 3 that's pavement is noted to be removed also. So the access back to those bins, if you will, is projected to be eliminated, as well. I certainly understand why you want a pure lot that's not connected and it doesn't have any encroachments on it or any defect in it, so to speak. That makes sense. But it looks like, based on the drawings, that they're somewhat ramping down.
Yeah.
In a pool also, the pool has been removed, correct?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
saw that at the time. Was that, and the pool is actually on the plan, but that would be removed. It seems like they're kind of doing
Yeah, that's
A little bit of-
that's no longer there, the pool.
cleanup, if you will, on
Yeah.
We
on
did
there and
the
getting rid of
survey a
some of
couple of
those
years ago.
items.
Yeah.
You good? I can get back to you. Okay. Paul?
I'm good.
You good?
Just have you, Andrew's comments, have you read those over? You're satisfied with those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all, and
Sorry, who just said that?
I did.
Ryan.
I already spoke to one of them, the sewer question, but, the other ones are easily addressed. We've already talked about a couple of them. And the sidewalk, as I said, we've called out, it just doesn't say concrete. The intention was it to be concrete because it's concrete at both ends, so. But yeah, they're easily addressed and they'll be revised. When we add the permit number to the plans, we could address those.
And the house on the middle lot, part of it has to be removed just because
Yeah,
of, just because of the setback?
That's correct.
That's an, excuse me, that, right there, that's an existing porch, is that what that is?
On the side here, what is
Yeah.
that? that bump out that you're taking off?
That's an existing porch, yes. And there's actually, it's an old farmhouse, and where we're taking this porch off right here, there's a foundation. It must have been added on afterwards, so there's a foundation inside there, inside the cellar, where this porch is added on. So that, only thing that has to be taken down is that porch. The foundation will be still there, and side it, clean it up, put a new roof on it, and that's it. So there's really no foundation that has to be put onto that, because there's already one there inside. They must have added that porch on afterwards.
So you're gonna remove that
Remove
foundation?
that porch.
And the
actually-
foundation?
Excuse me?
And the foundation?
And the foundation, fill it
That was on.
into the existing foundation inside. You could actually see siding inside the house, where it was an outside siding where they added onto it, so.
Good? Okay.
Well, I just, one last question, for instance, the removal, we talked about where the material's being stored, and it says it's going to be removed, but then there's some talk that there's still gonna be some materials stored there, and I'm sympathetic to the price of steel and the price of,
Yeah.
for us, it was the price of carbide and things like that, and you are what the scrap market will bear. This is a proposed drawing, this is not the final version of things. Is it, because, I don't know, I see a well's gonna be removed on site 1, but there's a well on lot 3, and I guess that's because you own lot 3, so you can keep
Yes.
that there, now you don't have to do it.
Lot 3 would be.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
And I'm just
It's a
wondering,
functioning well.
how much is this drawing gonna change to,
Not a whole lot. I mean, my projection would be only accommodating my and Andy's comments. There were no other comments from police, fire, and what have you. So I would say, yeah, whatever those drawings are, as modified by the comments that you see.
okay.
So that, in a way, that's why, I ask about that, and I know, I talked to Jim prior to doing my comments, and printing them up, actually, was to just check on what was being removed, and it turned out most of the things that I thought were problematic were being removed, so I understand. I went out and I took a look also, because it was a little hard to grasp, I kind of wanted to walk back there and take a look at it.
They'll still need to come in with a detailed site plan for lot 3 once they decide on the house.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And I mean, I don't think it needs to come in front of the commission at that point. That would be
They-
the staff.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
They typically don't. When we did all the lots here, they come in for staff review.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Rich?
I'm all set.
You're all set. When did you plan to go forth with this construction and the lot line revisions and?
Not anytime soon, I just wanted to kind of like get the lots squared away, and then, I don't know, down the future, I was gonna put a home up there. But not anytime soon, it could be a couple of years.
Okay.
Well, I do have, just one of my comments involved a time frame a little bit. Now, I think in order for you to file the Mylar, you've got to correct the encroachment on the setback from the porch.
Oh, that's gonna be done.
So you'd have to do that before
Yeah,
we
exactly.
would
No,
file the
that's-
Mylar.
That's why I wanted to get this done. I wanted to make sure, what I had to do to that middle house, because like I say, it needs a new roof. I got a lot of upgrades to do to it, so that will come off.
Right
And
away,
then-
yeah.
And then,
Because I only had the 90 days, and then they'll need, no doubt, an extension, at least one from you, and, I mean, that's okay.
yeah.
But you'd have 270, at that point, but, you'd have 9 months to kind of get it
But
done.
the comment is that removal is a condition of the approval, so you're not gonna be able to file a Mylar without it being done.
Right.
So you
Oh, I
can
see.
complete your application without doing that work.
Yeah, all right.
It's hard for some of us to relate to the fact that you own a construction business and
Well, yeah,
you
yeah,
can demo it on your own.
Oh.
It'd be a bigger problem for me than for you.
Talk to Paul.
Jim,
I don't have a big problem, I mean, whatever you wanna do.
well, get this thing figured out a little bit is what I want to do, and that completes your presentation.
Yeah, the Mylar question, it sounds like you're about 9 months, is that what you said? I mean, he's gonna do the house renovation and when the weather gets nicer in the early part of the summer, so we'll have time to get it filed after.
Yeah.
Well, how long is it normally before you do an extension, how long do you have to do the Mylar?
90 days.
Okay, so
So
then
yeah,
if you ask for a 6-month extension, you
Right.
get, which we would not have a problem doing, so you
But
get
if-
about
It's 90 days from 15 days after the date of publication.
Yeah, okay,
So
well-
you're picking up about 10 months total.
About
You're
10
picking up
months.
about 4 right off the bat. So.
So that's was the only, you gotta get that done.
But yeah, I feel fairly comfortable that, they're aware of it. So.
Okay, good, yeah, you said it, okay, good.
Okay, let me just see what the, okay, commission, you all set? Everybody in the commission? Good. Is there anybody here that'd like to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone here in favor of this application? Speak up to the mic.
I could reach this.
Pull it
You can
down.
hear you.
You kind of pull it down a little bit.
Yeah, pull it.
Great.
Mary Ann Adenofi, 88 North Hill Road. Mary Ann Adenofi, 88 North Hill Road. And Michael. I have lived across the street from them for 30 years. I have no problem with this going through whatsoever. They're wonderful neighbors. He's a great construction person. So I just wanted to state that we have no problem.
Okay.
Michael, want to say anything?
He agrees
He's
with
just,
you.
he's just, Mary Ann, he's just checking you out. I say he was just checking you out, make sure you got your point across.
That's right.
Is there anyone else who'd like to have, please step forward?
My name's Christine Adenofi. I'm at 89 North Hill Road. And I've been living there for 20 years. And the Sorellis are excellent neighbors. It's an excellent construction company, and I have no problems with them whatsoever. And I'd be more than happy to see this all happen for them. And they really, truly deserve it.
Okay, thank you so much. Yep. Anyone else like to speak in favor? Anyone have any questions whatsoever? Any concerns? I know you're talking, I'm trying to give you time. If you'd like to speak, just step up to the phone, up to the mic.
You don't actually have to.
Hi, Jennifer Cusano. 5 Mikey's Way. So I guess my question has to do with sewers, as far as them tapping into Mikey's Way sewers. Is that from the end of our street, or is that already something on North Hill
You can
Road?
address it right here. Miss.
Oh,
He'll
I
take
didn't know where
notes.
the
They'll
sewers
answer
were.
you.
Yeah, you want to, in respect.
As far as the sewers go, is that something that they're tapping into directly from Mikey's Way, the street, or is that something that's gonna be just on North Hill Road?
Okay, we'll find that out. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
No.
No? That's it?
Okay.
What's your concern about
Yeah.
that, so that we know?
Yeah, what is,
Just construction regarding our own, like, the street itself, if the street's
Fair
gonna
enough.
be chopped up and things
Got
like
it.
that. for the sewers.
okay.
Okay.
Well, even if it was chopped up, then, they're supposed to get it back.
Yeah, I'm just, I wasn't sure, because I wasn't sure if there were done completing the street itself. I know they'd mentioned sidewalks and our street isn't, Mikey's Way is not complete as well either.
You live on Mikey Way?
Yes, yep, it's a new development right alongside this property proposal.
Yeah, and
So-
you've been there how long?
About 2 years, a year and a half.
Okay. Very good.
Thank
you very
you.
much. Yep, thanks so much, young lady. Anyone else here like to speak? Any questions, any concerns, whatever? Okay.
The sewer work she's referring to, when they put the sewer in, they left stubs for these properties. They're already out of the road, so they're behind the sidewalk already, so there won't be any activity in Mikey's Way.
Right.
So there'll be no digging into the road?
No, and I believe she's right. I don't think the final course has been done yet on Mikey's Way. Maybe one lot left? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. So usually they don't do it till they finish all the houses, so.
Okay.
Okay, did you get that? The stub is inside, so there won't be any digging up the road. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, very good. That, for the moment, is it for the public. Anything to add?
No, fairly simple proposal. I think we've covered it pretty good, so.
Okay, very
Awesome.
good. Okay, I'm gonna keep the public hearing open until we get through discussing it in deliberation.
Alan's looking at you.
I'm gonna keep the public hearing open, since I don't wanna put add anything to this after we discuss this in deliberation. I don't wanna close the public hearing right now,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
Okay, Brian?
We're going to side plans now?
Yeah, we got to,
Does he have to read about the K Brothers?
right, that's the one we're going into right now.
Okay, the Cape
You
Brothers?
have to read
Jennifer?
that whole thing?
Yep, we have to
Okay.
read, we're gonna read that in, Jennifer? Okay.
I'll read that in.
You wanna read that whole top part right in?
Right here, okay. In addition to the public hearings, the below items will appear on the meeting agenda regarding a potential settlement in the matter of K Brothers LLC versus Planning and Zoning Commission, Town of North Haven, Connecticut, docket number NNHCV 19-609-3414-S, concerning the real property located at 224 Quinnipiac Avenue, North Haven, which is currently pending in New Haven Superior Court. Please note that the public comment will be permitted. Number one, discussion of the status of the pending litigation in the K Brothers LLC versus Planning and Zoning Commission, Town of North Haven, Connecticut, and the potential settlement thereof based upon proposed revision site plan, revised site plan, and the possible action related to the same. A copy of the proposed revised site plan is on file in the Land Use Office in the Town of North Haven. Public comment will be permitted. Number two, consideration of whether to convene an executive session to discuss the status of the pending litigation in the K Brothers LLC versus Planning and Zoning Commission, Town of North Haven, and the potential settlement thereof based on the proposed revised site plan. A copy of the proposed revised site plan is on file at the Land Use Office located in the Town Hall Annex.
Okay, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer Capola from Seal and D'Onofrio, counsel to the commission. You'll recall that we were here last month. You asked that a published notice be included in the notice of public hearing. That was done. So they are back to, again, present the revised site plan. We have Attorney Chris Smith, Jim Rotundo, and representatives from the owner. So I'll just turn it over to Chris and Jim. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jen.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, Chris Smith on behalf of K Brothers LLC. For the record, from K Brothers this evening, we have Nadine Khalid from CM's Food Stores, as well as their counsel, Richard Morgan. Jim Rotundo, our engineer, is here this evening, as well as Jennifer indicated. We did, I don't know if you want to just go over it, but this involves the gasoline station with the drive-through. The drive-through component has been eliminated as a proposed resolution to the appeal. You did ask for it to be continued, so it would be noticed, as Attorney Capola indicated. In the interim, we have gone to the Wetlands Commission, and we appeared before them on January 22nd. They approved the modifications to the existing wetlands permit to eliminate the drive-through component. And again, that was just 2 weeks ago, so we are returning, presumably after the notice was published. We do have the site plan here, and Jim is here if you have any further questions, but we're hoping that, respectfully request that the commission consider approving the proposed resolution, which would be a modification to the existing permit. Or,
Right.
excuse
Well,
me, the
reason I
existing
asked-
application.
Yeah, the only reason I asked you to come in, because most of the people down there did not know that this closure was being handled this way. And Jim was concerned about everybody knowing that how this thing is being handled, so that's why we had the continuation of this and turned into a public hearing. In any event, that's the long and short of it.
Understood. No, and we appreciate the opportunity to be back here this evening. So.
Thank you so much, yeah. Okay, Jim?
They did what we asked them to do.
Right.
I had two concerns, is that if anybody in the public wanted to make comment, and the police making comment, the police made comment, I saw that, so that's good. I was fine with the application as it was presented without the drive-through. Just wanted to see if anybody from the public wanted to come. I do know, because people had mentioned it to me, that they were aware of it, the people that lived in the area, so that network was aware of it. I don't know if anybody's here or not, but you did what we asked you to do.
And just for the record, in addition, as Commissioner Gilletti indicated, we did, working with Mr. Frederickson and Attorney Capola, reach out to the police, who indicated that they didn't have any issue. I don't know if it was police chief or if it was a designated sergeant, but they indicated, it's my understanding, my recollection, that they didn't have an issue with
they put it in
the
writing.
elimination. Yes, thank you.
Okay, any,
I don't have anything.
yeah,
No, I'm good with that.
okay. Okay, is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here in opposition? Anyone here have any questions of how this is being handled or any confusion whatsoever? Okay, Jennifer?
Well, before Jennifer comes up, I just would like to, or Attorney Capola, I'd just like to, for the record, on behalf of K Brothers and Sam Foods, thank Attorney Capola and Mr. Frederickson and Mr. Bevilacqua for taking the time to work with us to be here this evening with this proposed resolution. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And let me just indicate for the record, because there is nobody here.
Yep.
And we did give them the opportunity, as I said, I know people had said to me they were aware of it. And just so that for the people that do watch these meetings, essentially what is happening, and you presented it last time, is there's some changes being made to the building and some changes being made to the pump, but no drive-through, which is the bottom line. And other than that, the property's being upgraded, for lack of a better word.
Exactly, and just for the record too, not only did the police chief review the revised plan, but also the fire chief. So I believe that you were provided with their comments in your packet, and there were no concerns. And there's nothing further, it's not a public hearing, so it's just a matter that it's a settlement, we're taking public comment, and you don't need to close the public hearing, you can deliberate on it.
We can deliberate on the approval of the settlement in accordance with what was
The
presented.
submission of the revised plan, exactly.
And while we're looking at it, we had comments that had been circulated prior to the last meeting, and I believe that there were no issues with those particular comments. So if it were the will of the commission, you could approve it conditioned on those particular comments.
Okay.
And for the record, Chris Smith, yes, we agree to that. So those, the comments that were received by your professional staff can be incorporated as conditions of approval if the commission were to see fit to approve it. Thank you.
Okay, very good, good. Well, I'm glad that we got, this is really taken care of, and that the applicant and the commission, and certainly now the ones that the concerns about this are aware of, what's going on. It's being updated and it's being totally rehabbed without any drive-through going through. That was the big concern there. So, in any event, that's good. We don't have to close it. We don't have to do anything with it. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies. Okay. We go on to site plans now.
Okay, the next one is P.
You don't have to do that. Okay, this is site plan P20-02, plans of the CPD Group application for 384 State Street.
Good evening. My name is Jim Rotundo. I'm a licensed professional engineer with Godfrey Hoffman Hodge, with our offices located at 26 Broadway here in North Haven. Here tonight representing the applicant CPD Group. Also with me is Mr. Tom Kevitt, who is representing the applicant, who is the assistant construction manager with the CPD Group. The parcel is located at 384 State Street. It's approximately 3.9 acres in size. It's actually a split zone. The front portion of the site is CB40. The rear portion is R20. The site currently consists of several uses. The building in the rear is the Premier Car Wash, along with the Express Lube. In the front, there's a building, there's a convenience store with gasoline pumps, as well as the Dunkin' Donuts. The applicant currently leases and operates the convenience store and the gasoline fuel facilities. There are two areas for fuel dispensers, one adjacent to State Street, which is automobile gasoline pumps. There's a second area just to the south of the building, which is their diesel pumps. The applicant is proposing to relocate these diesel pumps to an existing parking area, paved area located to the south of the building. This is really predicated on two things here. This is located currently in kind of a vehicle conflict point. The egress driveway from the car wash comes out through this way. The driveway through the Dunkin' Donuts comes out through that same area along the south, as well as vehicles lining up at the fuel dispensers to get fuel. This kind of falls in with their timing. The second thing that's going on here is that their permit for the existing underground storage tanks is coming up in March. Those have to be taken offline and replaced, so they saw this as a good opportunity to take this project on and relocate that canopy. The canopy is 20 feet by 36 feet. Would be two fuel islands within there with dispensers, fuel dispensers. We're also proposing some line striping to direct vehicles queuing through here. This is located at one of the things with this proposal is we're proposing to retain the existing parking spaces within this lot area here. The drive aisles on either side of here are both a minimum of 24 feet. So they do provide sufficient area for vehicles to get in and out of these parking spaces should they be used, as well as circulation around that fuel pump area. One of the items in this application is we are requesting a waiver of the sidewalks along the frontage of the property. We reviewed this with the applicant. There's about 350 linear feet of sidewalks that need to be installed. They put an estimate together on that, and the cost for that's about $35,000, which is actually, it's approximately equal to what the cost of relocating their canopies are. Now, the applicant, they're in their early stages of their lease here. They have options for longer-term leases. They're not totally opposed for putting in sidewalks. As a matter of fact, Tom said they like sidewalks.
Yeah, I want to discuss that with you, not now, but.
Right.
just to let you know.
It's coming.
Yeah, but in our discussions, and Tom could even elaborate on this, but like I said, they have options for long-term lease here, so they may be looking in the future to do some upgrades to the site and the building, which from a financial feasibility standpoint, they see it as probably fitting into the project better at that time. And therefore, we're requesting a waiver of the sidewalks at this time.
Okay, we'll talk about the sidewalks. If you want to finish your presentation and.
That's essentially it. If we did receive comments from the land use staff, we're in agreement with those. Just to touch on a couple items, there is a dumpster area in the back corner here. There's one dumpster that is screened properly. There is a second dumpster adjacent to that. That dumpster, the applicant is going to review the necessity of that, and based on what they deem if it's needed or not, they'll either remove it or they'll make it comply with zoning. They'll have it on a concrete pad and screened, or they'll see if they could get two smaller ones to put in that in the existing screened area. There are some trees that are missing from the original approval. Mr. Frederickson is asking if those could be replaced. The applicant is okay with that. It's a lighting plan. There are no new proposed site lights proposed with this. There will be lighting underneath the canopy. We could submit all the required lighting information to Mr. Frederickson with the final canopy design. I think that's essentially it. There's some notification comments in here, but in essence, we're in agreement with the staff comments.
Okay, well, now, just let me get back to, you're going to retank this in March? Is that what you're saying?
So the tanks have oh, sorry. My name is Tom Kivett. Kievit. So our tanks have a sunset of 30 years that is expiring at the end of this month. By code, we need to replace them. So they're going to get upgraded with new double wall fiberglass. They're outfitted with sensors, spill buckets, vapor recovery, and everything else. So regardless of everything else on site, these tanks are getting shut down at the end of this month by law.
Right, I understand what you're saying. Are you going to re-tank where they are now, or are you going to move it over to are these all the tanks or just the diesel tanks?
There's two tanks existing I believe 4 tanks existing. We're trying to locate them closer to this island because the sensors and the backflow doesn't work at such a great length. We need to pitch all the pipes so that they drain back.
Right.
And the sensor equipment at that time needs to be a shorter length.
Okay, but that's coming up like in another month or so, is that
Correct,
right?
yeah. So we're getting drawings prepared already for that.
Okay, so I presume when you're going to move the pumps, you're going to move the pumps then and re-tank and run the lines at the same time?
Correct.
Right, okay. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, I guess that's what I had, and sidewalks, of course, and that the canopy is 36 by 20?
Yes.
Okay, direct lighting?
Yes. So these canopies, we'll have this in the lighting plan as well. They're recessed LED lights. We meet, the codes for every township that we go with.
Okay.
I just got a comment on something. I apologize, but I think I had some information on this that was incorrect, and I passed it along to at least 2 commissioners, Vern and Jim, about the tanks. So I apologize, but I did not understand that you were replacing them or relocating. I don't know that matters, but that was errant information.
Only in this regard, because it doesn't matter to me. You're moving them for whatever reason, that's your thing. But are you saying that replacing them and removing them and repiping them and putting the canopy up, all of that will be done for $35,000?
No, the underground, the stuff that's legally for us to be required, that's in the $100,000 range, and that has to take place no matter what.
But I mean so you're cutting a little bit of your argument. Wait, just let me finish, and then you can comment if you would. In the past, we have looked at the cost of things when we decide whether or not to put sidewalks. I think we need sidewalks on State Street. I think that it's a real problem. People walk on the road and you can't see them at night, so we like sidewalks. But I buy the argument that if the sidewalks cost as much as your project, it doesn't make sense. We wait to a real development. Now you're telling me the pumps are gonna cost you like $100,000, so you're like at $135,000. Your argument's not as good at that point.
The way we looked at it in our discussion was that what is prompting the request for the sidewalks is the canopy. That's our site plan approval.
Yeah.
And they were looking at it. There were some other items, and I'm not trying to pull an over the commission, because there were some other items that we talked about, improvements, pavement and so forth, that they had budget concerns and they weren't going forward at this time because they didn't have the money. And that kind of fell into our discussion, and that's how we looked at this. Just so we understand.
So tell me if I'm going to agree with you. When what things do you see as potentially in the future where you're gonna come to us and say, we're spending real money, the 35,000 is not a problem?
So this being a commercial property, every 5 to 10 years, we like to touch up again, just because no one likes to shop at rundown stations. So every 5 to 10 years, we like to touch our stations up again. If you see McDonald's, Dunkin' Donut, they're all going through this rebranding phase. It's similar to what we do right now. So it's rebranding every so many years. So with a 40-year lease that we're into, 5 years now, we're inevitably going to end up back in front of this board.
I don't know what touch-up means. What does that mean? I mean, so how are you gonna come to us and say, I don't want you to come again and say, all we're doing is touching up and it's gonna cost us $20,000. We don't wanna put in $35,000 worth of sidewalk.
Well, if we could put that in as a condition, next time, no matter what we spend next time.
Okay.
So they range, some, depending on the state of the building, it could be just siding or it could be a raising.
I hear you. I don't know that we can put that condition.
Can I help you a little bit, Jim, before you
Sure,
hang up?
I'll listen, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
okay.
you understand what my concern is. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're into big numbers anyways, whether it be directly to this or not. You're moving, how long have you been in the lease?
5 years.
You've been in the lease 5 years now?
Yeah, for 5 years, and it's another 35.
Yeah, then you got another 40 or something
Right.
like that on top of it. Okay, but in any event, so you're retanking and you're moving it, and those are big numbers, there's no question about that. In a sidewalk, if it's 35 grand, now 35 grand, that's what, concrete walks?
Concrete, yeah, well,
Right.
5 foot concrete
That's
walks?
5 feet concrete walks. That's when we go to DOT, if they're going to require us to put in new concrete driveway aprons, that
I
cost to
get-
go
that-
up to about 47,000 or so.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Are you gonna do that? You may have to do that anyway.
If DOT is going to require us to do
Right.
that, yes, we will.
Yep.
If we get into doing the sidewalks and improvements within the right-of-way.
Okay. Well, in any event, there is sidewalks to the south of you, and there is sidewalks to the north of you, a little bit further away than the south, but they are there. And we took a look over there, and we see that there is an area there with for some people waiting for a bus, that there's to get out of the get in the shelter, waiting for a bus. So there's bus stops along both sides. So there's obviously people walking there. So it just made me think about it a little bit, but, I'll let the commission take it from there. Jim has had a little bit.
I think that was a concern I had. I saw that the
Brian, go
Connecticut
ahead.
company signs are up right in front of the facility where people come to wait for the bus, and it'd be nice to have them be able to wait for a bus in a shoveled area on the sidewalk to be traveling through snow, waiting for a bus in an area that's not sidewalked. Now, I don't know if the whole area, 350 feet would have to be sidewalked, but if we could maybe have an accommodation, well, that's something to discuss maybe later, but of a smaller area that's sidewalk there for where the bus stop is. Because nobody likes to be waiting for a bus for the snow.
If I may, Alan, if we, this is a site plan, if we approved it and said it required the sidewalks, would they have 11 years to do the sidewalks?
Yeah, 9.
Well, I have 9.
Yeah, but that's why I wanted to get into that next, Jim. Because you're coming back in 10.
Right, so you got 9 years up to
Years I can
14
tell.
years
Yeah.
if we said to do the, and if you're telling me you're gonna come inside that time, you get time to do it anyway.
But
It's-
they'd
I
have to
just-
bond it.
I get it,
Well,
but
And the sidewalks would be $100,000 then, so. Right.
Can I ask you a question, Tom, while we have you here? I realize that the property changed hands.
Right,
And the longtime manager of the property and owner was Joe Farrell.
right.
Who kind of pieced it together. I see a different owner now, Fulton Forbes Incorporated.
And I don't know, I've spoken with Joe about this, and he seemed like he was the lead on this, and he just needed to, I guess, collaborate, or I'm not exactly sure who Fulton is, but he is still active in that site.
So you represent CPD.
Correct.
You're the applicant. What does your lease include? Went in, they have a Dunkin' Donuts, there's a store.
Right.
And they pump gas and diesel.
Right.
Is that all under your auspices?
That's it, it's mainly just the gas and the convenience store. So then the Dunkin' is an extra tenant in that space as well. I don't necessarily get into the lease agreements with everybody. I'm on the construction side.
Okay, but you don't have anything to do with the car wash and the oil change?
No, that's a separate unit. in the back.
Okay.
So
just
that's
trying to-
another lease with this property owner, or is that the property
It
owner?
may be
again,
the
I'm
property
not-
owner and no
Right.
lease.
Because in speaking with Joe, he did make it clear that, he didn't like the canopy here because of, he mentioned that this was, his car wash or, he's involved in that. so-
Yeah, that's fine.
Brian, did you, were you any more on the sidewalk at this point?
Good right now.
You good right now?
Right, I mean, I like the idea of the sidewalk, so
Right.
we've already discussed it, so.
No, okay. The sidewalk is a situation that if we were to approve a sidewalk today,
Right.
you would have, theoretically speaking, 9 years before you had to have it completed.
Right.
So instead of coming back in 10 years and saying, we want to put a sidewalk, you can come back and say, 10 years, we don't want to put a sidewalk, or in 8 years. You
That
know,
probably won't
you
go
can
well.
You can ask for a waiver of sidewalk then,
Right.
and we could put the sidewalk in now. If, are you
Well, how
comfortable?
much is the bond amount? I mean, that's the numbers that everyone's going
That's
to
a good question.
Andy?
Well, that's,
I had estimated 19.5 with the erosion control,
With the,
with the sidewalk.
with the sidewalk.
How much?
what control did you say?
With the erosion.
Erosion.
Are you okay?
So his price on the sidewalks is 16.
Right.
Oh,
3,500 and 16, 19,500.
okay, so it's a little bit different in there, so probably could sharpen that up a little bit. But, but I mean, are you okay with that? I mean, just ask you that.
He's okay with wishing that we wouldn't do it.
Well, we're not saying you have to, we're saying we're gonna put it in, and you can always get it out, maybe. But are you comfortable with us handling it that way?
You accept the surety bond, correct? Does it have to be a cash bond posted?
It's
or-
not.
Is it,
So you get surety bond instead of posting a cash bond, and then you have this extended time, but 9 years of this
That's all.
make it easy.
just have to bond it.
I mean, if we don't have much choice here, I mean, sidewalks are coming into town as it is,
Right.
as you're putting them in.
Well,
But
you may have convinced 3 out of 5. If you did, you don't have to have silence. Doesn't feel good to me about it, but
Right.
If I can ask you one thing, I can write you one heck of an approval letter regarding the dumpster, but do you have a preference? I would rather not write it somehow to make the dumpster legal. I'd rather, would it be your intent to expand the dumpster pad, or would it be your intent to eliminate the dumpster?
I'm assuming that it's going to be to expand the pad,
Okay, fair enough. That makes it a little easier for me in that regard.
Right.
Sure, okay.
Okay. Very good.
I'm good.
Anything else, Rod?
I'm wondering, the new canopy, is it all diesel? Is it gonna be a gas and diesel? What are you envisioning going in here?
That's two,
Boxcars?
so there's going to be 4 fueling spots, 2 fast-fill diesel dispensers. So that, the space that we have is more conducive to truck traffic in that area. So, we have a lot of accounts for trucking companies, and anyone who wants to get a discount on diesel fuel, they come in and out nice and easy.
So, okay, I don't know the traffic engineering here, but I see there's a thing that comes up. Can trucks get in and out of there okay?
Are
I'm just,
you,
see, right there, I'm wondering if they're coming in, what are they?
Yes, I had reviewed it with Alan and Andy. There was actually, in the previous application, there was a turning movement plan that showed tractor trailers moving through here, so they
Okay.
can make that movement through there.
All right, great. Thanks.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay, so we're all good?
I'm just,
Okay.
well, no, I'm not. The concern was having the traffic flow coming out of the car wash there, and now tractor trailers are coming in where you're saying the cars are coming out. Not that there's a heck of a lot of traffic all the time there, but is that a concern, or is that okay? That tractor trailers would be coming
Tractor,
in with the-
if you drive through here, tractor trailers do come into this lot now. So tractor trailers are traversing through here and coming in and out of this lot. If they're to use these diesel diesel dispensers now, they come around and around the back of the building, conflicting with the other traffic. So it actually takes it away from the main operation of the site also.
I think it's going to improve traffic somehow, pulling that out of there, but, you know, I hadn't even thought about it. So you're saying that would be a two-way direction in terms of the traffic?
Yeah,
You
correct.
could come in through the southerly entrance and go back towards the building, exit back towards the building? I hadn't even really thought about that. I thought they would all come in the middle of the site and go south, but I don't,
I don't know if we have,
Do you have any objection?
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly what's there now, but I believe there's, two-way.
Right. Currently, there's two-way traffic in both of these driveways here.
from both ends, right?
Yes.
Wow. Whew. Well, as the way it stands there, usually the most northerly driveway would carry the in traffic, and the southerly driveway would carry the exiting traffic. In fact, we just changed that up on the diner over there at the State Cafe over there. They had it the opposite, actually, and they changed the rotation of going in there simply for that reason, to put it one way all around the building, their flow is just going right straight around the building. So,
Each of these curb cuts are quite wide.
Yeah,
Both of them are in
yeah,
excess of
no,
40
I'm
feet.
not saying it
So
won't
yes,
work.
so there's a lot of
and I
room
think
there
it
for
will work.
maneuverability.
I think it will work because of the big curb cuts you got there. Big.
do you think
Okay.
DOT will request that you take away some of that width?
These plans haven't been shown to DOT yet because we weren't, if the sidewalks are going to be required, these will go to DOT, and then they may comment on the circulation.
Fair enough.
Okay, you good, Jim?
I got one more question, I'm sorry. So you mentioned two fast fill diesel, and there are other two pumps. Is this all for trucks, the New Island?
It'll be diesel
Canopy?
fuel, so it's not
Okay.
specifically for trucks.
But
It's
it's all
any
diesel.
vehicle that would use would use diesel, would utilize these pumps here.
Yeah, diesel only on that side, is that correct? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Okay. You got it all set. Alan? Very good.
Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you so much. Good job. Okay. Let's see, we want to go down to, is there anybody waiting for anything to change the use?
Change the use, I would think.
You want to get that out of the way now? I'll take a
would.
break and then after this. Okay, we got change of use coming up, Alan?
Yeah, I believe there are three
39.
on the agenda.
39 McDermott Road.
Good evening, Commissioners and staff. Gerald Pagano, 250 South Ocean Boulevard, Pagano, 250 South Ocean Boulevard, Unit 267, Delray Beach, Florida. I own the property at 39 McDermott Road in North Haven.
Yeah.
And I'd like to make a request for a change of use for a tenant that I've put in the space. It was previously for cloth cutting, and the tenant is a masonry and waterproofing business, and they want to use it for warehousing their supplies and equipment.
I'm sorry, you said you're going to use it for what?
It's a warehouse, basically.
Oh, warehouse, okay.
The kind of contractor storage.
Yeah, two warehouse. Okay. Rich, any questions?
No.
Right.
I did, I'm looking for it. There were some conformance issues on the notes I saw from Laura. And I was wondering, did you address those?
We did. Laura had sent me a letter about, we looked at, I had another tenant in there, I have another tenant in there, and there would seem to be a little bit of differences from what the leasee was proposing to be able to do with their storage on the outside of the building. And they have been storing stuff outside, so her lease is about to expire in the end of April, and they'll just be moving out, so we won't have to worry about that.
That's the fencing.
That's the fencing company. And this particular individual, everything remains within, in the unit.
Inside?
Yes.
So there's no outside storage?
No outside storage, no.
That's a plus.
That sure is.
There is another issue in that the zoning enforcement officer sends us a report now, telling
Okay.
us what she's been doing, and it says alleged motorcycle club has yet to be addressed.
I like that, alleged. No, there's a group of folks that I rented that space to, a gentleman named David Nieves about 4 years ago. And it was rented to him as a place for him to store whatever he wanted. He wanted to just use it as a place for him and his buddy to hang around with. That's what I was told, anyhow. And then later on, we found out that there was an incident about a year ago, or maybe not even a year ago now, that Laura probably was speaking about here, that something happened in the parking lot across the street from this facility with law enforcement involvement. I don't know whether it was a burglary or it was some kind of an event. ICE, the detective that was in charge of the case, contacted me. I immediately gave him all the information that I had on the individuals that were in there, and he contacted them. I contacted the folks that was involved in this, and at this time it was a gentleman named Frank Rossi, who has since asked to continue using the space. I have asked law enforcement to provide me anything in writing that says there was something that these folks have done that was inappropriate or not supposed to happen. And unfortunately, nobody's ever given me anything, and all I've gotten is comments about alleged. And so the individual, Frank Rossi, said, absolutely not, we didn't have anything to do with it. And so it's kind of hard for me to make a decision about telling somebody that must get out or do something else with that in mind. Now, let me just say this. I do have an agreement with that gentleman that if I have one complaint in writing from anybody, he's going to move out without any question at all.
So has there been an approved use as a motorcycle club? Did like your...
No, I was doing this one, and the next thing I'm going to go with whatever they're going to do with it, or if I have anything in writing that shows that they did anything.
But I didn't even know about the incident. That's not my issue. My issue is you need, if there's a club there, you need to make an application for a change of use just like anything else.
I intend to do that.
Okay. So right now, you're not in compliance.
Correct.
Am I right, or am I?
No, you're
Yeah, I
right.
believe that's correct, and I think that the three tenants were put in there, I don't know, Mr. Pagano being out of state, hadn't had a lot of activity or changeovers in the building, and I believe he was totally unaware of the requirement, so he's
I'm
now
not
aware.
faulting this applicant.
No.
All I'm saying is, there's a claim there's a motorcycle club in there, which you're kind of, I don't know what a motorcycle club means, but you're kind of substantiating that something's going on there. I didn't say something bad, I said something's going on there that has not been approved. So what I'm asking is, or what I'm saying is, our zoning enforcement officer says has yet to be addressed. We want to get it addressed, which may mean just make the application, come say what we're doing, and then let's get it approved.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if Frank Rossi's going to stay there or not. And that's why I didn't do it right now, because I thought, he might be out of here any day now. As a matter of fact,
Right.
I usually get the rent check in advance of the month, and I didn't get it for February, so I'm assuming that, I don't know what the decision has been made. But I will talk to him, and if he tells me that he is, I'll explain to you exactly what his proposed uses are. But, in speaking with Alan, I understand that would be some kind of substantial amount of parking that would be required for a club, okay? Now, these are 2 or 3 or 4 guys that I've seen there at any one time, but that's about it, and they're just not doing really much at all.
I get it, but your argument that they're not doing what would allow to be done at that property doesn't help, okay? So you can't use it unless it's within the regulations, and that's what's happening right now. right? It's being used and nobody's filed for a change of use. So if there's a problem, we gotta address the problem, but we can't just pretend it doesn't exist.
No, and like I said, I was coming in here to get this approval for the masonry facility, and then I was gonna go to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the word club is the problem.
I understood. There's nothing in the lease that says anything about a club.
Okay.
Right.
So,
So you signed a lease with sort of an individual.
I signed a lease with an individual, and that was,
that's what I wanted. I was
yeah,
gonna ask you that
just
next.
an individual lease, and I was told originally that there was just gonna be some, these guys
Put
were
some
gonna
motorcycles.
put some stuff in. They didn't even say motorcycles.
But I mean,
Didn't say anything about vehicles.
is this
'Cause
leased
I don't like
to one
vehicles, to be honest
person?
with you. Well, that's all I have a lease with, is one
Okay,
person.
well, that's,
And as a matter of fact, when I bring his here, if we continue on, I'll bring him in here, you can meet him.
Fair enough.
okay. Let's see. I lost track of the original thing here, I guess.
The original thing was,
We're going from
39
warehouse
McDermott.
to,
yeah, from cloth cutting to warehouse, manufacturing.
anyone else
Snake
have any
cloth
other
cutting.
questions?
I have a question. That lease for the alleged club or not club, is that a month to month now? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. Anything else, gentlemen? No?
No.
You okay? Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much, yeah. Okay, 78 Rebeshi Drive.
Hello, my name is Ike Igbinosun, last name IGB. B-I-N-O-S-U-N. Good evening, guys. So, I am the new tenant at 78 Rebeshi, and we're trying to change the use into a personal training gym.
Okay, so you want to put a gym in there?
Correct.
Okay,
And what was it? The space you're in?
I believe it was the e-commerce. They sold glasses.
how big a gym you planning on putting there?
Personal training gym, so maximum clients we get at the old place we were at, maximum is 8. We do no more than 8. So it's
8.
relatively small,
The
yeah.
total membership is 8?
No, at one time.
Oh, at one
People
time.
training would be about maximum 8.
So it's just personal one-on-one
Yeah,
training?
personal one-on-one training for athletes specifically.
Oh, I see, okay. A little bit different than a regular
Yeah.
gym.
Now, you had done an amendment a little while back to permit in the IL zones the gym.
Personal fitness.
Yep, personal fitness, yep. Good to go. Anything else?
Yeah, I do. Just on the change of use form, there's some areas that are left blank here as far as parking and that, but you just answered one of the questions as far as 8 people at a time. Is there no parking for us? I mean, it's just,
I believe there is. If you go out to the site, it's a multi-use, multi-tenant property. It's got 3 different addresses, 2 different buildings. There's, I don't know if there's ample parking right next to their particular space, because I don't know exactly what space you're taking. I was never able to figure that out, but that's okay, I know the building. Is there any direction you could give us on which space you're intending to take?
So, we're the space in the back. So 78, if you drive all the way to the back, it's the warehouse in the back and it's full of parking. Nobody else parks there.
So the parking is kind of spread out. For changes of use, we don't generally have them look at the parking load, which would be for the entire site. Personal training is as determined by the commission.
Yeah.
But it's a large paved area, and there are truck bays and such too. The food company is in there as
Yeah,
well.
I've seen them
So
before.
it's, yeah. Anyway, yeah, to answer your question, Brian, I think there is adequate parking. I don't see them as a major parking generator.
I just want to, because down the road, if we have this form and we have the blank spaces here, for the next use that would come along is what do they go by? And we had one in this past site plan that was from 1976. I was really impressed with that. That was about the trees. We were able to go back that far, and I was wondering if we had something like this to go back to.
It's a little tough because of the uncertainty about the parking load. There's some office space in there, Petra Construction is in there, there's a percentage of warehouse that's there and a percentage of office. It would be a tough calculation to run at this point.
But in general, there's enough there for that.
Yeah, I guess that's the judgment, and
It's
in
also-
my opinion, there would be.
It's also off kind of on its own. I mean, it's not going to cause
I was gonna say, it's their problem if it doesn't work.
It's not going
let
to
me tell
cause a
you.
traffic problem.
They're a long way, and Rebeshi Drive is not actually a town road.
It's not.
No, and so they would have to get all the way out to McDermott.
Yeah.
Not real concerned about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right.
You all right? All right,
Good, good.
okay, you're good?
They'll deliberate before they leave tonight on that.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you very much, yep. Good luck with your gym. Okay, 380 Washington Avenue.
Well, my name is Tin Dang. I'm a tenant. Dang, D-A-N-G. I'm a tenant at 380 Washington Ave, Unit 3. Looking for a change of use. The tenant before was a fish store, retail, and we're looking to put in an eyelash extension and microblading salon.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. You want to put in a what?
Eyelash extensions and
Oh, the
eyebrows
okay.
microblading salon.
Yep, okay.
There's currently a nail salon and a hair salon in the plaza.
Pardon
Yep,
Bernie's
I'm
never had
familiar.
any lash work done.
Yeah, not lately. I haven't had that done lately, but, you know, I'm thinking about it now.
I didn't know what microblading was
I
either.
got flickered all up here. Any questions, gentlemen? No?
No.
You all set?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, here we go into deliberation, we take a little break. 10-minute break.
And
4:15.
Hey,
PM.
Vern, before you go back.
You ready?
Hey, Vern, we're back.
Hey, you want one of my pens?
Carry
Nice
on.
advertising pen. Get a name and
Okay,
address.
folks, we're back after a short break.
Thank you.
Is it possible
I don't have to write anymore.
to close the public hearing on that subdivision
I am
request?
I'm going to close that.
But he's saying that you have
Like
to close it
before you go
before we go into
into deliberations,
deliberation.
I think is in
Yeah.
the spirit of
I will, before we go into the deliberation, I'm going to close it. I just wanted to
You
make sure there
going
was
into
nothing else
deliberations
to... Right now. Right now, I'm going to do that. Yes, you took my thoughts. Okay, you ready? Okay, we're ready to go, folks. All right, the first thing I do want to do is let me get myself to which one I'm closing.
Remember, the
It's-
third one at the bottom of the page.
P2001?
22001. Okay, I want to make the record show that I'm closing the public hearing on 22001. So, it's closed. Go. Now you can go. I know you were waiting.
You just closed.
But in any event,
It's
okay,
coming.
it's closed. Okay, let's go back up to the top here. I guess on Grasso Avenue there, I'm sorry?
Yeah, we make a motion to go into deliberation?
Oh, yeah, okay, I was gonna discuss this before we did that, but, okay. Let's make a motion to go into deliberation, if you'd like to do it that way.
Oh, I don't care. You want
Go
to do
ahead,
that first?
make a motion.
I made the motion.
Okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Right.
Okay, we're now in deliberation. Okay, well, the first thing is the zone change on Grasso Avenue, which they asked and gave us permission to search out, to change the zone on the 3 lots, and I just want to get a motion to approve that.
No.
Hold.
No.
You're going to continue,
Right.
correct?
Continue.
We're making a motion to continue the zone change application to Jarrett Russo till next month, at which time we will also consider changing all 3 properties at the same time and have our staff consult with council so that we can do it correctly, because the application really has to come from the commission.
I've already
Well,
sent
the commission
town
is
council an
making a-
email requesting to
got
discuss
it?
the matter.
Is that the motion, Jim?
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Alan?
Got it.
You got that?
Jim,
Okay.
Brian?
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, continue, Tim Lee. A motion to continue Tim Lee till next month. This will be P19-38.
I'll make a motion to continue P-1938 till next month.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 30, we're now down to North Hill Road, which is P20-01. The subdivision on North Hill Road. Can we, you want to make a motion on this, Jim?
I'll make a motion to approve the subdivision application of Robert Cirilli for 3 lots at 7783 North Hill Road.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
In the, was there anything we needed to debate on that one? We're good as,
Sidewalks and everything.
so all the conditions that were in
Yeah,
our.
they stand with it
comments.
anyways, Alan.
All of our applications to
We really
approve
don't
would
have to go
include
with that.
staff comments.
Jim? Okay. Jim, you got this,
Yeah,
put it
with,
together?
the next matter is the matter where it says for discussion of the pending litigation and consideration whether to convene an executive session. I'd make a motion that we not convene an executive session and that we approve the proposed settlement based on the proposed revised site plan, and that the site plan be approved in accordance with what has been presented to us before.
Okay. That's the same
All
motion.
one motion.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I wanted to thank the applicant for getting this out so it got out to the public and everybody had a chance to comment on it.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you very, we're done. It's over. Okay.
We did all vote on that, right?
Yes, we did. Okay,
But the
I don't think we did.
Four voted, Brian,
the four of us.
Rich, Vern, and Jim
We all
voted
voted?
on that one.
Okay, we all voted.
If you missed that part of it, that's what actually happened.
Okay.
Okay. IP 2002, site plan of, on 384 State Street.
I think we have to talk about sidewalks.
We
Yeah,
do.
well, yeah, I'll get there. Okay, before we look for a motion, we want to talk, the only thing we got to talk about is sidewalks. We
Yeah,
have
I
all
mean,
the
it-
information.
To me, that's the only thing we have to talk about.
Yeah.
And as I think has been mentioned by several people, State Street is an area where we really need the sidewalks. We talked about the fact that the site plan, they've got 9 years to go complete the site plan. They are spending money there, not just on the canopy, they're spending money to remove the tanks. I don't think having to put in sidewalks over the next 9 years is too onerous for this proposal, and I would think when ultimately we make a motion, I would make a motion that we
Right.
approve it with the inclusion of the sidewalks. That's
Do you
my
want-
2
what is
cents.
what's your opinion on that?
I agree with that, and I also think this is the appropriate time to think about putting them in when you're changing the configuration, having these trucks coming in and out and another curb cut, so I think it's a good thing to have.
Which,
I agree. Plus, he said they upgrade that gas station every 5-7 years. So certainly within that 9-year time, they're going to be doing that. So I agree. We should include that sidewalk tonight.
I want to see the sidewalks included. There's a bus stop there. It'd be good for
Yep.
people.
there is. Okay, so that's going to be, can I get an approval for P 20-02, to approve with including the sidewalks.
I'll make a motion to approve with including the sidewalk of P 20-2.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. That takes that one out of the way. All right, we get down to, just before we go to the bonds, let's do this change of use. 39 McDermott Road. Gonna go from a warehouse to, whatever he's gonna put. What is he gonna put in that McDermott Road?
Construction company, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Office
warehouse, it's gonna be warehousing, yeah.
From manufacturing to warehouse.
To warehouse, yeah.
Yep.
Get a motion to approve? Anybody? A
I'll
motion
make a
to,
motion to approve that.
have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. I just want to reiterate to the gentleman who came in front of us that we heard from the zoning enforcement officer, we have to address, and he has to address the motorcycle
Absolutely.
issue.
Yep.
I'm not saying not to approve now, I agree, let's approve now, but Laura sent us a nice summary of what she's been doing. I wanted to stay on top of that and make sure he comes back in front of us.
Okay, good enough.
Other than that, I make a motion, I'll second the motion.
Okay, seconds the motion.
Can I add something?
Okay, Richie, that's good. Did I get a vote on it?
I was going to
He's asking a
add
question
something
first.
to that is, for motorcycles, we might have to wait for the warmer weather to come about before we can get a definite conclusion on how
Well, I
that's
agree.
panning out.
But they gotta come in and tell us what they're
If
doing.
it's a club.
We don't have clothes yet.
Yeah, well, I think the club's gonna be.
No, I
an
know,
in-
but if it's as it's alleged.
It's gonna be an interesting issue, let's put it
No, it's
that way.
not in this,
Okay.
it's not in this part
Okay,
right
it's
here.
not in
Brian. Okay.
Burns ducking.
We got a motion and a second. Is it, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we're okay. Okay, now we got 78 Rebeshi Drive.
I'll make a motion, we approve the change of use for 78 Rebeshi.
Okay, that's a gym going in there. They just want to work out. Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
Okay, 380 State Street, 380 Washington Avenue.
We did, it was unanimous.
It was unanimous.
Did you get the,
I got the motion.
who they are? Yeah, it was voted on unanimously.
Are you okay? Okay. 380 Washington Avenue, change the use to, from, what is it doing there? For the
Fish store,
eyelashes?
eyelashes.
Okay. We
Retail
get you looking
service.
pretty. Okay. And a motion to approve? Somebody?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. I go back up to bond releases, 19 Timothy Drive.
Yeah, they were before us, the last meeting, talking about those little sidewalk sections. That was
yeah, yeah.
outstanding. And then the other thing was, they needed to provide some proof of deeding over the 25-foot right-of-way for the town for each of the two parcels. And also, there was some drainage rights that were required as a condition of approval. So I got copies of the deeds. The attorney sent that over to me just last week. And obviously, we dealt with the sidewalk issue, so everything's good.
We're good to go?
Good to go.
Okay. It's P17-22, a bond release. Can I get a motion to approve?
And what was the amount of that bond?
It says 15,000. So it did.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the release of the bond on Timothy Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, P94-72, Pine Hill Estates.
Yeah, this is kind of a big one. This is essentially Summer Lane and all of the little side roads that come off of it. Construction's been done for a long time. And Jonathan had advised me when I first came on board, everything was set except for, there was some sinkholes in the existing road that needed to get addressed. So last summer, they went out, cut the pavement, dug down to the base. I oversaw what they were doing. They came back and repaved the road, fixed the areas that were an issue. So that was the only thing that was really remaining on the project. and then
Wasn't-
for me to figure out what's going on with the bonds, because
Yeah.
You gotta figure it
Wasn't
out.
there an issue about trees versus sidewalks or something on this project?
Not on this particular, I think we settled that, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
there
the
was an
trees
issue,
where-
yeah, there was an
well, we-
issue with trees.
We could not go on to people's property, right?
Right.
They wouldn't let us go up there to change the trees.
Yeah, not everybody planted the trees that were supposed to.
Right, but we couldn't go up there to put them in.
Well, no,
We'll
they
take 'em
didn't want them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw the notes in there, there was a whole lot of discussion going on about that.
So you're satisfied everything's done
Yeah.
correctly?
And now this has still got to go through, the road has to be formally accepted, because the road is not formally accepted right now. So it's still got to go back through the selectmen, it's still got to go back through a
Wow.
public meeting
Before
before
they
all
get
this
the
gets
bond.
done and before the money actually gets released. So
Wow, that's
we
a
still
lot.
got a little ways to go, but this is
Telling
kind
me.
of the first step.
Okay, did I get a motion to approve that?
No, not yet.
Can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the release of
Okay,
this
can I
bond.
get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. No,
Brian made the
Brian and
motion, Rich seconded. Yep.
Okay,
And did we vote that?
We did.
we did.
Thank you.
It was unanimous.
P 96-44, 900 Universal.
Okay, so this one, I believe this is a sewer bond. I'm not sure what role this commission had in it at the time when it was issued, but it's directly related to the sewer construction that was done out there.
Which one's 900? What is it?
It's the Jeep, Nissan deal.
On Universal Drive.
Right.
No.
So as part of the construction for that project, they had to do some work on a sanitary line there, and that's what the bond was for. I mean, the work was done many, many years ago, they just had never asked for the bond to be released, so, so that's essentially it. And again, I'm not 100% sure that that this commission imposed the bond, but I wanted to get your okay that we release it, and then I'll deal with the WPCA as the next step on this thing.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the bond release?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the bond release for 900 Universal Drive.
Okay.
I'll
And
second.
that's
Okay, Jim
$2,500.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
$2,500. Oh,
Was it 100,000?
50 and
it was two, right.
Okay, and
So I just want to make sure,
50 and 100.
relative to 900 Universal,
Yeah.
who made the motion? Brian?
we got,
Rich and Jim.
we got the correspondence report there, what do you got there, Alan? Anything?
Well, the newsletter, you can look at, we copied that.
Well, any of you guys want to see them, see Alan?
And then I hope that the format for the CEO report.
Yeah, I was impressed by that, it was very helpful.
Yeah.
Good to know, so that we know kind of what's going on and what she's going after. I thought it was perfect.
Okay, good.
Terrific. I'll pass that along.
Anything else to come before commission?
The
Okay, get a
minutes.
motion for the.
Minutes for
I will make a motion to approve the
Take
minutes.
the minutes, right?
Oh, you're doing the minutes?
Yeah,
Oh, I
I'll make
thought
a
you were
motion to approve the
adjourning.
minutes of January.
okay. And a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. A motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
And then a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.